Welcome, dear listeners, to our scary stories. Dim the lights, pull your blankets a little closer, and let the shadows dance on your walls. Tonight, we delve deep into a world where nightmares take form and where every turn could be a step closer to salvation or eternal entrapment. Brace yourselves, for the journey is as chilling as the tales we tell. Let's begin. In the soft embrace of twilight, the quaint village of Greendale unfurled beneath a cerulean sky tinged with hues of scarlet and orange. The cobblestone streets were awash with the golden glow of lanterns, which dangled from every storefront and lamppost, guiding wayfarers along their path. The air, cool and slightly crisp, carried the faint scent of wood smoke and freshly baked bread. Oliver, a tall man with jet-black hair and sharp, discerning hazel eyes, alighted from a horse-drawn carriage at the village square. Around him, the streets bustled with life. Children dashed about playing, their laughter echoing amidst the chattering of villagers and the occasional neighing of horses. He approached a tavern, its wooden sign, weathered and worn, depicting a frothy mug of ale. Above the entrance hung a delicate iron bell which chimed melodiously as the door creaked open. Inside, a warm glow bathed the room. Men and women huddled around tables, some deeply engrossed in conversation, while others lost in their cups. A faint aroma of stewed meat and ale lingered, enticing Oliver's appetite. The innkeeper, a stout man with rosy cheeks and a beard as white as snow, greeted Oliver. "Evening, sir. What brings you to our secluded Greendale?" "A thirst for knowledge and perhaps a pint," Oliver replied with a smile, taking a seat at the bar. "I've heard tales of a grand labyrinth in these parts." A hush settled over the tavern, conversations dwindling to uneasy whispers. The innkeeper's jovial demeanor shifted, replaced by a guarded expression. "We don't speak of that here," he whispered, pouring Oliver a pint. From a darkened corner, a soft voice interjected, "If it's tales you seek, then perhaps I might offer some enlightenment." Turning, Oliver's gaze met Clara's. Her age was betrayed by lines of wisdom etched upon her face, yet her eyes sparkled with youthful curiosity. Dressed in flowing robes, her silver hair cascading down in waves, she exuded an aura of mystique. "Join me," she beckoned, her voice smooth, reminiscent of ancient tales told by firelight. Oliver hesitated for a split second before deciding to oblige. As he took a seat opposite her, Clara leaned forward, her voice dropping to a hushed whisper. "Greendale has many stories, but the maze, it's an entity of its own. A living, breathing enigma." He could hear the weight in her words, the caution, the respect for the ancient and malevolent. "Why is it so feared?" Clara leaned back, her gaze distant. "For within its walls lies a curse, one that has claimed many an unsuspecting soul." Oliver leaned in, captivated. "Then tell me, dear Clara, what lies at its heart." Her eyes met his, piercing through the dimness. "That, my curious traveler, is a tale for another time. But if you dare, when the sun dips beyond the horizon and Greendale is veiled in shadows, come find me, and I shall unravel the mysteries of the damned labyrinth." Outside, as the sky deepened into a stark blue, the distant murmur of rustling leaves hinted at secrets yet to be revealed. The sun, having relinquished its claim on the sky, allowed night to envelop Greendale. The town was transformed. The once joyful and bustling streets now lay silent, and the very air seemed to thicken with tension. Amidst this backdrop, Oliver found himself navigating the cobblestone streets towards Clara's abode. The faint glow of lanterns cast eerie shadows on the walls, and each step he took echoed, underscoring the stillness of the night. Clara's dwelling was an ancient structure nestled at the edge of the village. It was an enigmatic building, adorned with archaic symbols and overgrown ivy that seemed to have tales of its own to tell. As he approached, the wooden door creaked open on its own, revealing the heart of Clara's sanctuary. Inside, the room was illuminated by the soft glow of candles, their flames dancing as if caressed by an invisible hand. A rich tapestry adorned the walls, depicting scenes of verdant mazes, celestial bodies, and lost souls. The scent of burning sage and lavender filled the air, mingling with the faint, musky aroma of old books and parchments. Clara, seated at a heavy oak table laden with ancient tomes and crystal orbs, gestured for Oliver to sit. "I have awaited your arrival," she began, her voice lilting, weaving a melody of mystery. "The tale of the labyrinth is one that few dare to recount, and fewer still dare to listen." She took a deep breath, letting the weight of centuries settle around them. Many moons ago, Greendale was presided over by a lord with an insatiable hunger for power. He commissioned the construction of the Labyrinth to imprison an entity he believed would grant him unmatched might. Oliver's eyes widened. An entity. Clara nodded solemnly. Some say it was an ancient spirit, others believe it was a being from another realm. But once trapped within the maze, it grew resentful and vengeful. Over time, the labyrinth became sentient. The statue at its heart, a grotesque masterpiece, began trapping the souls of anyone who dared tread its path. The souls become ensnared. Oliver whispered, trying to grasp the gravity of the revelation. Yes, Clara's gaze deepened, bound eternally to seek an exit they will never find. Doomed to wander the ever-changing corridors, their cries of despair echoing for eternity. Oliver shuddered, the weight of Clara's words pressing on him like a physical force. Why would anyone dare enter such a place? Clara sighed, curiosity, ambition, or sometimes just a cruel twist of fate. The labyrinth beckons, and every 50 years, a wanderer is ensnared, adding to the chorus of lost souls. She leaned closer, her eyes locking onto Oliver's. But remember, every tale carries a seed of hope. The key to unlocking the curse lies deep within the maze, waiting for someone with the courage to seek it. The room fell silent, save for the soft crackling of the candles and the distant howling of the wind, as Oliver pondered the path he was about to tread. As dawn's first light stretched over the horizon, casting Greendale in a gentle golden hue, Oliver found himself standing at the edge of a vast, overgrown field. The entrance to the labyrinth loomed ahead, its stone archway covered in ivy, as if nature itself tried to shield the world from the darkness within. He felt a hand on his shoulder and turned to find Clara, her gaze filled with a mix of concern and determination. Before you venture forth, she began, handing him a small, ornate pendant. Wear this. It will not only protect you from the labyrinth's illusions, but will also glow when you're near the heart of the maze. Gratefully, Oliver took the pendant, feeling its cool weight against his palm. The centerpiece was a crystal, shimmering with an inner light, encased within a silver framework intricately designed with runes. Taking a steadying breath, he took his first steps into the maze. The world outside seemed to blur and fade, replaced by winding pathways lined with towering hedges that seemed to stretch endlessly in all directions. The ground beneath was a mosaic of cracked tiles, each etched with a symbol, a silent testament to the souls lost within. The sounds of Greendale were soon replaced by an eerie silence, broken only by the soft rustle of leaves and the distant murmur of water. Every so often, a gust of wind would whisper secrets, its voice low and haunting, carrying with it the faint cries of the imprisoned souls. As Oliver delved deeper, the path before him began to twist and turn unpredictably. At times, he felt an unsettling sensation, as if the walls themselves were watching, shifting, leading him further into the heart of the enigma. Despite the daylight outside, a perpetual twilight reigned within the labyrinth, casting everything in a surreal, dusky glow. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, her silhouette illuminated by the dim light. A young woman, no older than 20, her hair a cascading waterfall of gold, and eyes, a striking shade of violet. "Who are you?" Oliver inquired, taken aback by her sudden appearance. She stepped closer, her gaze sad yet resolute. "My name is Lydia. I am, or rather was, a resident of Greendale. 50 years ago, I ventured into this maze, ensnared by its allure. I've been wandering ever since." Oliver's heart ached for the lost soul before him. "Is there any way I can help you?" Lydia's lips curled into a melancholic smile. "Help yourself first. Find the heart, break the curse, and perhaps we all can find our way out." With those words, she slowly dissolved into the mist, leaving Oliver with a renewed sense of purpose. Determinedly, he pressed on, the pendant around his neck glowing faintly, a beacon guiding him deeper into the labyrinth's embrace. The deeper Oliver ventured, the more the labyrinth seemed to come alive with memories. Whispers of laughter, cries of despair, and the sweet, haunting melodies of forgotten songs danced in the air. At times, the ground seemed to pulse, like the heartbeat of some ancient, slumbering beast. Up ahead, a soft glow emanated from a clearing. Drawn to the light, Oliver emerged into a circular chamber, its center dominated by a still, reflective pool. The waters shimmered, their surface agitated by an unseen force, before settling to reveal a vision. Within the depths, scenes from Greendale's past played out. The once thriving village, the joy of festivals, and the pride of its residents were all laid bare. Then came the construction of the labyrinth, its foundations soaked in rituals and dark pacts. The ambitious lord stood at its center, his eyes hungry for power, blind to the looming doom. As the vision shifted, Oliver witnessed the first soul trapped within the maze, then another and another, each one adding to the sorrowful chorus that haunted the labyrinth's twisted paths. The water's surface suddenly erupted, breaking the trance. A figure emerged, a man of imposing stature, his face twisted with regret. It was the Lord who had commissioned the maze, now a prisoner of his creation. "Seeker," the apparition intoned, his voice echoing through the chamber, "heed my warning. My ambition and folly damned us all. To break the curse, you must not only reach the statue but understand the essence of the maze." Oliver, trying to mask his fear, responded, "And what is its essence?" The Lord's eyes glinted with a mix of pain and clarity. "The labyrinth is a reflection of our desires, our fears, our very souls. It feeds off them, grows with them. You must confront these to navigate its depths truly." With that, the figure retreated into the pool, leaving Oliver to contemplate the task ahead. Taking a deep breath, he felt the pendant's warmth, a gentle reminder of the hope it represented. With renewed determination, Oliver moved forward, each step bringing him closer to the heart of the labyrinth, armed with the knowledge that to conquer it, he would first have to confront the depths of his own soul. The path ahead seemed to darken, narrowing as Oliver ventured deeper into the maze. Thick, thorny vines began to encroach, their tendrils reaching out as if to grasp him, while overhead, a canopy of dense foliage blotted out the twilight, immersing him in shadows. Soon, the quietude was replaced by the haunting echoes of his own memories. Oliver found himself reliving moments of joy, sorrow, anger, and regret. At one turn, he saw his childhood home, the scent of freshly baked bread wafting through the air, as his mother sang a lullaby. A few steps later, he relived a bitter argument with a dear friend, the raw pain of words spoken and anger tearing at him anew. Whispers beckoned him, guiding him toward a particularly dense thicket. Pushing past the vines, Oliver came upon a clearing where a tree, ancient and gnarled, stood alone. Its bark was carved with countless symbols and names, including his own. Beneath his name was a series of inscriptions, fragments of his past. Oliver recognized them all: promises made, dreams shattered, love lost, and forgiveness denied. A whirlwind of emotions surged through him, each memory more intense than the last. Suddenly, from the shadowy recesses of the clearing, figures began to emerge. They were not the lost souls of the labyrinth, but manifestations of Oliver's own regrets and unfulfilled desires. Among them, he recognized the face of his friend with whom he parted ways after that heated argument. The figure stepped forward, its voice dripping with sorrow. "Why did you turn away? Why did we let pride tear us apart?" Oliver felt a lump in his throat. "I'm so sorry," he whispered, tears forming in his eyes. Another figure emerged, a younger version of himself, his face etched with disappointment. "Why did you give up on our dreams?" it asked accusingly. Facing his own shortcomings was a torment greater than any physical challenge the maze could offer. But with each confrontation, each acknowledgement, the weight on Oliver's shoulders seemed to lessen. Drawing from deep within, he addressed the specters, reconciling with each memory and emotion, seeking and granting forgiveness where needed. As he did, the figures began to fade, leaving him alone once more. At the base of the tree, a new path opened, glowing with a soft light. The pendant around Oliver's neck pulsed in sync with his heartbeat, its radiance growing brighter. With a newfound clarity and the lessons of his past etched into his heart, Oliver continued his journey, understanding now that the true essence of the labyrinth was not just about confronting the external challenges, but battling the inner demons that dwelled within. The newfound path Oliver walked upon seemed smoother than those before, adorned with petals that released a mesmerizing, otherworldly fragrance. But as he tread further, the petals transformed into delicate, translucent butterflies. They fluttered about, leaving a trail of ephemeral light in their wake. Suddenly, the environment shifted. The dense foliage gave way to an opulent ballroom, its vastness stretching beyond perception. Grand chandeliers hung above, their crystals refracting light in 1,000 hues. Elegantly dressed couples danced gracefully, the music a soft, lilting tune that tugged at the soul. Amid the sea of dancers, a woman in a flowing silver gown beckoned Oliver. Her face was obscured by a delicate masquerade mask, but her eyes, a piercing blue, felt eerily familiar. Without a word, she took Oliver's hand, leading him into the dance. As they moved in tandem, the world around blurred, the ballroom transforming to show glimpses of different realms, each more alluring than the last. Verdant meadows, shimmering beaches, and celestial landscapes flowed seamlessly, offering promises of peace and solace. The enchantment was overwhelming. Oliver felt the pull to remain, to lose himself in this illusionary paradise. But the pendant's warmth against his chest served as a reminder of his quest. Breaking away from the dance, Oliver approached the woman. "Who are you?" he asked, trying to see past the mask. With a sad smile, she removed it, revealing Clara's face. "Not the Clara you know," she whispered, her voice tinged with melancholy. "I'm a reflection of your desires, a manifestation of the maze. It's trying to entrap you with the allure of the unattainable." The illusion began to crack, the ballroom fading away, replaced once more by the maze walls. The ephemeral dancers transformed back into butterflies, scattering into the twilight. "I must reach the heart," Oliver declared, his determination unwavering. The illusionary Clara reached out, touching his face gently. "Remember, the labyrinth thrives on distraction and deceit. Trust in yourself and the beacon that guides you." As her form dissolved, the path ahead became clearer, the pendant's glow illuminating the way. Oliver pressed on, his resolve fortified, aware now more than ever of the labyrinth's cunning tricks and the importance of staying true to his purpose. As Oliver ventured further, the labyrinth's walls grew cold and imposing, no longer concealed by greenery, but rather made of dark, rough-hewn stone. The air was heavy with moisture and a chill that seemed to seep into his bones. Every footstep echoed in the silence, the sound magnifying in the tight corridors. Suddenly, the path opened into a vast chamber. Dominating the center was the grotesque statue, its details meticulously carved. The statue depicted a monstrous creature, part man, part beast, with myriad faces, each one contorted in an expression of agony. Surrounding the statue were countless stones, each radiating a dim light, representing the trapped souls of those who'd lost their way. The sheer number was overwhelming, a testament to the countless victims ensnared by the maze over the ages. From the shadows, ghostly figures emerged. They weren't menacing or malicious, but exuded a profound sadness. They were the guardians of the stone, former wanderers who, in their failure to escape, were bound to protect the statue and its terrible secret. "We have awaited your arrival," one of the guardians, an elderly man with kind eyes, said. "Many have tried to free the souls and failed. Will you be any different?" Oliver, recalling the lessons and trials he'd faced within the labyrinth, responded, "I am here not just for my own escape, but to break the curse that binds all to this wretched place." The guardian nodded. "To free the souls, you must understand the essence of their entrapment. The statue does not simply trap souls, it binds them with their deepest regrets, their unfulfilled dreams, and their darkest fears." Gazing at the glowing stones, Oliver realized each one represented a story, a life, a series of choices. Approaching the statue, he placed his hand on its base, feeling a rush of emotions. Memories that weren't his own flooded his mind, the weight of countless lives bearing down on him. Relying on the knowledge and experiences he'd gained, Oliver began to connect with each soul, addressing their regrets, offering solace, understanding, and closure. With each connection made, a stone dimmed before turning to dust, releasing the soul it held captive. Hours seemed to pass, the chamber filled with a cacophony of voices, each expressing gratitude, relief, and, finally, peace. As the last soul was freed, the statue began to crumble, its monstrous form disintegrating into nothingness. The guardians, no longer bound to their duty, began to fade, their forms turning ethereal. The elderly guardian, with a grateful smile, whispered, "You have done what many deemed impossible. But remember, the labyrinth has one final test." With the statue gone and the souls freed, the chamber's walls began to shift, rearranging and revealing the path to the final challenge Oliver would face in the heart of the labyrinth. As the chamber walls continued to morph and twist, Oliver felt the pull of the pendant grow stronger, guiding him through a freshly revealed passageway. The path was narrow, lit by an eerie, soft blue glow that seemed to emanate from the very stones underfoot. The passage led him to a serene, circular room with a vast, clear pool in the center. The water was so still it perfectly mirrored the starry night sky above. On the other side of the pool stood a door, ornate and glistening, a beacon of hope and the evident exit from the tortuous maze. Yet, as Oliver approached the pool, his reflection in the water began to distort. Rising from the surface was not his likeness, but a shadowy, ethereal figure that resembled him but bore an expression of anguish and despair. It was a manifestation of all his doubts, fears, and insecurities, the embodiment of the very barriers he had to overcome to leave the labyrinth. "You cannot pass," the reflection hissed, its voice echoing in the chamber. "I am every mistake you've made, every doubt you've felt, every path you regret." Oliver, steadying his breath, met the gaze of his darker self. "You are part of me, yes," he acknowledged, "but you do not define me. I've learned from my mistakes, grown from my doubts, and each choice, whether right or wrong, has led me here." The reflection sneered. "Then prove it. Show that you are more than the sum of your flaws." Determined, Oliver knelt beside the pool. He whispered words of acceptance, forgiveness, and understanding into the water, addressing each flaw and fear, not shunning them but embracing them. As he did so, the turbulent reflection began to waver and blur, weakening with each affirmation. "I am not here to fight you," Oliver murmured, extending a hand towards the water, "but to accept and move beyond." As his fingers met the water's surface, a radiant light enveloped the room. The dark reflection faded away, replaced by a true mirror image of Oliver, calm and resolute. The pool's water rippled gently, and the path to the door was clear. With newfound confidence, Oliver approached the exit. As he touched its shimmering surface, it swung open, revealing the world outside. The night was serene, and the village, free from the oppressive weight of the labyrinth's curse, looked more vibrant and alive than ever before. Oliver stepped out, the pendant's warmth a gentle reminder of the journey he'd undertaken. Behind him, the entrance to the maze sealed itself, its purpose fulfilled. The labyrinth might have been an age-old test of resilience, fears, and regrets, but Oliver had emerged stronger, having not only faced his inner demons, but also having set countless trapped souls free. As dawn's first light painted the horizon, a new chapter began, both for him and the once cursed village. And so, the tale concludes, but the echo of its haunting melody lingers on. Thank you for joining us tonight on our scary stories. As you drift into sleep, remember, the line between our world and the next is thin. Until next time, keep your stories dark, and your nights even darker. This is our Scary Stories signing off for tonight.